discerners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are, you shining star seeds that you are. Okay, as usual, I greet you in that love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth in the divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than the fifth dimension, 5D in the place to be. You see me, you know me. This is where we are. For those of you who have quantum leap, who have alchemized your energies to get to where you are in your soul ascension, in your elevation, in your DNA activations, all of that and much, 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 much more. Right? So as usual, I come to bring you the news to infuse, if you so choose to infuse with that light and energy as you choose to. Do with it what you will. And remember, if you don't infuse, then you are refusing. And those who refuse get fried on the grid. All up on the grid, like some people getting right now when we go through these purgings. Um, because anytime, this is the thing with purgings. I didn't mean to go into purgings, but this is where it's going right now. The thing about purging is that there's so much light coming in that there has to be a purging. It can't all go with you. Okay, all of the foolishness can't go with us. So if you want the light, if you want the enlightenment, if you want to be bestowed with the love that lights the truth, beauty, goodness, and everything within it all, if you truly want that, matter of fact, I'm hearing it's not even about what you want. Ready or not, here I come. That's what the frequencies are saying. So as more light is being poured in upon us, right? The solar flares is light frequencies. They are sonic waves, as I've been saying. Sonic soul waves, sonic spiritual waves. It's all sound, light waves, energy frequency waves that are hitting us, right? To help amplify, to help magnify the acceleration of this planet, right? It's not just about you, but it is, because each one reach one, teach one. Each one lights the candle for the next one. And when we individually do our soul work, collectively, it adds to the collective evolution, soul ascension and evolution of this planet, aka Gaia, aka Jeb, whatever it is that you want to call it, right? So I want to catch back up because this is where I last was, on this beautiful view. I had it out earlier of the whole ocean shore. I'm on the Negril side of town, still over on that side, and sharing with you some stuff about the winter solstice, right? This is where I left off. And I was sharing with you some of the downloads, and of course I got, cut short on, didn't have enough juice. So with this, I want to touch back on this winter solstice. For those of you who don't know about it, look up winter solstice anywhere. You can even look up re-spiriting, when I did a couple of videos about this last year, going in depth about what this information is. Now, I had a speaking with a local earlier today, and I was sharing that information with him because during this time where we're taught to, he was actually pointing out that there is some control going on and that there is stuff being hidden from us, and he was very aware of that. So I decided to highlight the re-spiriting season to him, which was new to him. Of course, he hadn't heard about it. He didn't know about the solstice. He didn't watch the sun in that way, and let me just, I'm going to explain it to you the way I did with him. The winter solstice is the day when the sun is the shortest day. It's the shortest day of the year, the longest night of the year, right? And it is said that on the 21st, what they call the 21st, the day of the winter solstice, whatever day that is for you, right? On our calendar, it is the first day of the month of Set. For those of you who have the 5D calendar, open it up. You'll see on the first day of the month of Set, which is aka Capricorn, that is the winter solstice, because it begins the winter season. The solstice and the equinoxes, they begin the seasons, if you are paying attention, right? The summer solstice begins the summer season. The spring equinox begins the spring season. Hence why it is the beginning of the year. Equinox, the spring equinox, is really the true new year, right? The fall equinox is the beginning of the fall season. So it begins that season, it begins that month of that season. Ashe. So it is the cardinal. Those, if you check it, those are the cardinal signs when these seasons begins. Capricorn, cardinal. Cancer, cardinal. That is for the summer. All right. Spring, Aries, cardinal. Libra, fall, cardinal. These are the cardinal, which cardinals are the beginning. It is the leaders of that sign, that season, the leading month of that season. Understand? So with that said, let's bring it back to the winter solstice. So the winter solstice is the beginning of the winter season, and that day is said when it is the shortest day, right? So it is the day where they say in ancient times, right? And this is what I had to bring to his attention too. The ancient times, our ancient Kemetic ancestors who knew this, knew the stars, knew the cosmos, knew that this is when the sun dies, right? AKA the sun dies. And when we say die, I want us to think of not just the S-U-N sun, but S-O-N, as in the person, you, the person, the only begotten son in you, the Christ in you, that son in you, right? Your personality, your ego, however you want to look at it, that ego aspect of you is the sun that dies, right? And it is said that the sun dies and then comes back in 3 days. This is where they get that story from when they say he died and he was risen on the 3rd day. They're talking about the cosmos. They're talking about something in the stars when the sun is at a stillness. That's what the solstice word is. Soul being sun, S-O-L, sun, right? Or soul, your soul is also the sun, however you want to look at it. So soul being the sun, and the stis, S-T-I-C-E, has to do with the stillness of the sun. So it is at a certain stillness, and so it appears to be dead, right? So our ancient ancestors would notate this as a day when the sun dies, and in 3 days it is risen. Because why? In 3 days it begins to move, right? It comes out of its stillness. It comes out of the stis, right? The soul stis. It comes out of the stis of the soul. I'm going to feel like I'm tying my tongue, right? It comes out of that stillness into movement, right? Keep in mind, the sun never stops moving. We never stop moving. We're always moving through the universe, and so is the sun. It is all a perspective. According to perspective of what they have been witnessing happening, it appears as if the sun isn't moving because it is at a certain stillness. It is moving at a pace. It's almost like it slows down, so it's moving at a pace that appears still. And this happens every year. This is annually, as I was explaining to this man. So imagine this, a story that they've covered up, that they have made the birth of a man, right? As I told him, Christ was not his last name, and he was not born on the 25th, right? It has nothing to do with that as a person. It has everything to do with the re-spiriting energy that already was here, existing here. And every year there is an opportunity, as the sun dies, there's an opportunity to have 3 days of darkness, right? And this darkness, remember, wisdom is in the dark. Remember, the darkness is feminine energy. So this is an opportunity to tap into the feminine energy, to regain our wisdom, right? This is also what they say, the 3 wise men that came with his gifts. This comes out of the re-spiriting, right? The wise men means you elevate, you come into your wisdom on the 3rd day when the sun rises. So what they celebrate as Christmas Day, right? Christ Mas, Christ More, is when you come into your risen Christ consciousness as the risen sun. So after the sun has become still in the darkest, the 3 darkest hours, meaning the 3 darkest days of the year, right? When the night is the longest, coming out of that, you come into your wisdom, the wise ego. So the ego, it's almost like there has to be an ego death experience. And Coming out of that, you come into the wise ego, the risen sun, Sunson, the risen sun. That is a Christ consciousness, the evolved aspect of you, the Christ consciousness. So this is what is risen. This is what is being brought to light. So let me bring it back to the three wise men, right? The three gifts coming from the wise men are understanding from the heart, insight, which is the highest point of the throat chakra, right? The highest point of the heart is when you gain understanding, when you're in your higher heart. When you're in your higher throat, through clarity, through truth and clarity, you've gained insight. And then into your intuition, and in your higher third eye, right? Through insight, you have gained intuition. You have understood your intuition. You become in your higher intuitive self, into your wisdom, the crown, right? Being brought into your wisdom and your divine self. So the wisdom, those three gifts that were being brought was understanding, insight, and intuition that raises you into your wisdom, into your wise self, into your wise consciousness. This is the risen sun. So after the sun dies on the 21st, on the third day, it is risen. This is explaining an experience that we are all to have. This is explaining an opportunity, as I said. When I explained this to the person, the person I was speaking to, he realized, oh man, so we're that while they're hiding these things from us, right? Look at the hustle and bustle all around you. As I explained to him, look at what they have us doing during these 3 days, from the 21st and the 3 days that we're supposed to be re-spiriting. They have us in a frenzy, right? They have us up and about preparing for what? Their cover-up story of Christmas. When this is really about the Christ more consciousness, being more into your Christ consciousness, stepping into your Christ consciousness. But this is something they don't talk about. This is something they don't want you waking up to. But this is an opportunity for you to do that. So what he realized was that we miss this opportunity every year. Every year at this time of the year is an opportunity to reset, to respite, to respirit, right? And I call it respiriting, as you notice. Look at the words respirit. It is the first letters of the word respiratory, to breathe again. To respirit is to rebreathe, right? Which is actually to rebirth. This is the rebirth. This is the true nativity scene. This is the true nativity scene of your soul self. Another year around the sun, another year, and I'm not talking about your birthday. I'm talking about an opportunity where in our soul we have the opportunity to respirit. And it's about holding ourselves accountable and responsible, really in those 3 days, reflecting on all that we have seen, all that we have witnessed, all that has been revealed to us, and then to become in our risen wisdom with it, not just to see it, but to know it, to feel it and know it, to see it and feel it until it gets into a knowing in your soul through the wisdom of the darkest night, through the receptive energy. It is a time for us to be the most receptive that we can be, right? And that receptive energy is the feminine energy. That is what we call the receptive activity, being receptive and being able to take in all the codes. Because keep in mind, while we're doing this, during this time, we are also aligned with the galactic center. There is an alignment with the galactic center and the codes that are coming from the galactic center, aka Mama Universe, that come through the sun, that come to us, right? So this comes from the sun, from the universe, through the sun to us, to hitting us here on earth. So it's an opportunity every year to ascend in your soul on another level, if you choose to see it. If you choose to see it and know it and feel it in your heart. It's a heart-brain coherency, right? And it's an opportunity for you to unfold in your soul and tap into your Christ consciousness. Another activity. There are many ways that we can tap into our Christ consciousness, and this is one of the ways. these 3 days of respiriting, we have to reprogram ourselves. This is something I've been doing, as I told him. This is the 3rd year that I am actively respiriting with my family, and deeply. I did it deeply last year. This year's a little different because I'm out of my element. I'm in another place. And when you're somewhere else, especially in a hotel, it's kind of hard because I actually have to get up every day and get the little things that we need, right? But last year, I was completely locked away. Me and the entire family locked away. We were doing our, for those of you who know, when I'm doing the time passing, time lapsing, when I'm doing my time thing again, right? We're in the middle of that. And those 3 days, we were the most still. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't do anything. We didn't involve ourselves with anything in the world, because all of that is distractions, as I was saying to the man I was speaking to today. And he realized, he said, oh, as we see everybody going around, they are covering it up and they're blocking us from doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're actually in the opposite of what we're doing. And I pointed that out to him and said, yes, and get this. While they have made a control system to control how people are moving in the holiday season, best believe that those higher ups, those in the Vatican and all of that, those who really know our history, that know our ancient knowledge, that took it from us, they are doing the opposite. Guarantee you they're not up and about doing all of this. They're being still because they know the truth. They've taken our truths and they've hidden it. But it is hidden no longer. If you choose to do your soul work, like what I was telling him, we don't have to go to, let them keep it. We don't have to go to the Vatican. We don't need nothing back. It's all inside you, internally. If you choose to do your shadow work and your soul work, a layer, you keep peeling layers of your soul. You keep ascending in your soul. You change your very DNA codes and you unlock those keys in your blood. There are keys to this information inside your blood. It's a God encryption in your blood. Deoxyribonucleic acid, that is DNA. And it means God, Lord, fire in the center of my being. That means the God encryption is in your blood. God, Lord, fire in the center of my being. Right? And this is the fire. This is the word that is within you. When they say in the beginning was the word, that's the word. So this is the word that when you activate it, blood, DNA activation, when you activate any of this, you bring into a remembering in your soul. You have a soul synapses and you unlock the many codes inside of you. Right? And you will get the downloads that you're supposed to get. You will get the upgrades that you're supposed to get. Some of you may even be having some ascension symptoms right now. And as I always say, there are 2 things happening when you're having an ascension symptom. Right? Either one, it is part of the purging that needs to filter through your body, your mind-body complex. It needs to come through. It needs to be, it needs to drain through you as the light is pouring in your vessel. And it needs to flood itself out. So your body kind of has this reaction to what's happening, right? And 2, you can be having an ascension symptom if you are going against the grain of this light energy and information that is coming through your vessel. If you are not ready, if you are not doing things that are ready, let me be clear when I say that, because everybody may think they're ready. You're not ready just because you say you're ready. If you're not doing things, if you are not behaving, if your behaviors are not behaving and befitting of what we are to be having in truth, then it is not in alignment with the truth, with the love that lights the truth, and therefore you are having what I call turbulence type of ascension symptoms. So there may be 2 reasons that you're having ascension symptoms. It's either turbulence because you are not in alignment and you're going against the grain of the truth, or it could be that it just needs to flood through your system as you are purging, as you are getting rid of what needs to get rid of. Only you know you. You have to sit with yourself and ask yourself, whatever the symptoms are, why am I getting it? Look at yourself, look at what you're doing, look at what you're aligning with and what you're not aligning with. And the truth will set you free in whatever it is that is to be, whatever is happening. right? And so you will be able to gauge what it is that is happening with you in your ascension symptoms. And if it's turbulence, then you know that you got some work to do. You know that there's something that you need to let go of that you're still hanging on to, right? If it is not turbulence and it is just the purging that is passing through you that you are participating in, and you are actively doing the soul work and the shadow work, if it's happening through that process, then what I suggest is drink lots of water. Drink lots of water and continue to sit in meditation. Meditate lots of water. Meditate lots of water. Be in the stillness so that you're not fighting. You're not really going against the grain. You're really just allowing yourself to go with the flow and allowing the energy to flow through you and the light to pour through you, right? So keep the faith in what you're doing and allow that to flow through you. And this is stuff you will get while understanding the respiriting process that is happening, right? And so this 3 days, for those of you who have done it, some of you may be watching this and be like, oh, that's why I was like this for 3 days. Some of you intuitively have been guided to this, because a lot more of us are waking up to this without even really knowing. You may not have known what I'm telling you about the winter solstice. You may not have even understood that, oh, that's what's happening, because the sun dies on the 21st and is risen in 3 days. 1, 2, 3. Right? And it depends on how you count those days. But I'm beginning to see that it is the 23rd, or according to our 5D calendar, it is the 3rd day of Set, or the 3rd day of Capricorn. 1, 2, 3. It says it dies on the 21st and is risen on the 3rd day. So 21, 22, 23 would be the 3rd day. You may count it where you count 22 as being one full day from 21, 23, and 24. So for some of you, this may be the 3rd day, right? That you are rising into your wisdom. Happy sun rising day, right? Which some people call the Christmas Eve, right? You are rising into your super conscious, your Christ conscious. So this is always an opportunity for us to have an ego death, put the ego down, right? And allow ourselves to marinate in the receptive activity, in the feminine energy of the receptive activity of and gain the wisdom through the darkest nights, the darkest hours, where we're not moving around as much, right? And through that stillness, we gain our wisdom. We got our 3 gifts from our 3 wise men, however you want to look at that, right? And then you are risen in your wise self. This is the respiriting season. It is the rebreathing. And these 3 days are just I want to say the eminent, or the important, the right now moment. 3 days, the practical application. There we go. These 3 days are the practical application of this activity. But it lasts for the entire 3 months. This entire winter season is the respiriting season, right? So Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, the last 3 months of the year, right? Before the new year, the last 3 months, which equals the 12, as I had been speaking about for those of you who saw that video on the rooftop about the 12, right? So that 12, these last 3 months are the transitional month. It is the preparation month. It is the 3 months that we are supposed to take into accountability of what is happening in this respiriting season. It is responsibility, accountability, all the way returned back to the new. According to the calendar, you're going to see Set, Anubis, and New. And even that in itself is a transition. Anubis being right in the middle of it, which represents transition, because Anubis prepares you for the next life. Anubis prepares the body for the next life, the mind-body complex for the next life, right? And Set is where people look at Set as wrong, but a lot of what I was getting even from this meditation is that Set energy, it comes to bring us the shadows within us so that we can look at it, so we can review it. In the respiriting, we are supposed to reflect, review, and rise or reform, however you want to look at that. So Set brings us the shadows. It's the ugly shadows of you that we have all been responsible in participating in. So when Set comes, we realize, oh, we set tripping. We've been set tripping. And this is why, let me explain as I'm saying this. This is why, as I see the number 6, receptivity, this is why the sun has to be risen. On the third day when the sun is risen, this sun, this super consciousness or Christ consciousness is the Heru of your soul. It is the Heru that has come to overthrow Set, or to highlight to Set. It's not even so much about a war is what I'm getting, but we need that Heru. We need that risen Heru in order to look at the shadows that Set brings. In order to have true accountability and responsibility, we need that wisdom from the risen super Christ consciousness, which is the Heru within us. The hero within us is our super consciousness. I want us to understand that. All of that is synonymous. All right? The super conscious is synonymous with the Christ conscious, with the Heru, with the spirit. Hence why we are re-spiriting. We are re-heruing. We are rebirthing. It's a rebirth in this specific nativity scene. So these 3 days are the actual true, I want to say the true nativity scene, right? Another way that I say the nativity scene is true is if you look your natal chart for each and every one of us individually. Your natal chart is the true nativity scene. Your natal scene is your natal chart. What are the stars that you were born under? This is also a time to re-look at that, to respect that. Right? These 3 days are a time to sit down and reflect upon everything. As much as you can reflect on. Look at your natal chart as your true nativity scene. Utilize this nativity scene of respiriting to look back at what has come through you, from you. Look at the shadows that you've been moving in. Look at them now. While the sun is in Capricorn, aka Set, while the sun is in Set, this is the winter season. This is where it's time to look at the darkness. Look at the shadows that we've been lurking in our own soul, the ugly truths that we don't want to look at. This is the time to look at it. And when you do and you unfold and you uncover those truths and hold yourself accountable, that is responsibility. That is the Capricorn principalities. The principalities of the Capricorn energy or the Set energy is about true responsibility through true accountability of what you know you have participated in. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Where do you play a part in these shadow workings? Where have you played a part in the demise of your own soul? Soul destruction. This is a time to revitalize that. This is a time to refresh that, to put yourself back on the map, to get out of the shadows, to pull yourself out of the hole. Re-spirit. But we won't find it when we're hiding behind the cover-ups of all this ambiance. Right? These Christmas lights, these Christmas spirits, these Christmas cover-ups that keep us distracted. Ashe, Tyrone. This is the solstice. This is the winter solstice where we are to be still. The sun is still for 3 days. Dies for 3 days because your personal ego needs to die. And I don't mean your entire ego. Notice what I'm saying. The personal will, the things we've accumulated in the dysfunctions of our soul. Those things need to die in order to be risen. You're not going to rise. This is what rebirth is. There cannot be no rebirth without a death. This is true transitioning. There is a death to rebirth. So this respiriting, this rebreathing, This reliving is a rebirth into what? Your higher consciousness. Every year we have that opportunity to have a rebirth, rebirth, rebirth. And look at it like a leveling up as we spiral up. So you level up every time. You ascend in your soul every time. Level up, level up, level up. Christ consciousness, Christ more. Right? Christ mas is that Christ more. All right, so this is what I wanted to bring the understanding to. And as I said, feel free to look at an old video, the one I did last year, whatever it is that you can see on re-spiriting the soul, because that is the time that we're holding right now and entering into that entire season. So as I said, Set begins that month. Capricorn is the first month of that. The cardinal sign takes the lead, right? And then we have Anubis, aka Aquarius, which is a transitional month, the transitional season. So after the death, right, and the shadows of Set, we go into Anubis, which is to transition and prepare you for what is next, prepare you for the next life. And then the third month is Pisces, aka Newt. Newt, returning you back to the Newt, the stars, the galactic center, the Newt out there, right? And that is to basically return you back to the stars, star seeds that you are. And then begins the new year in spring, and we spring forward with Aries, aka Asar, the risen king in the new light, in the new life. Ashe. This why we got to know our gods. We got to know what we really come from. We got to know, and I'm talking about the gods within you, the gods and the goddesses within you, but we got to return back to our really true cosmos, the cosmetic, the cosmology, our ancient ones that study the stars, that can help you understand who you are in this time and what is to be done. It guides us through the work that we need to do, right? Meditation, I was advised. Yes, I advise you to do meditation, drink a lot of water while going through this re-spiriting, right? And then today is also, let me remember, it's also 2424, the 2424 portal. This is the last 2424 portal. So happy 2424 portal also to you all. This is the last one of this year, according to the Gregorian calendar. This is the end of their year. And so according to the Gregorian calendar, this is the last 2424 portal that we're going to see. Right? And so the 2424 theme all year has been 6-6. So it's also been known as the 6-6 portal, because 2 and 4 is 6. So the theme has been receptivity all year. So what a perfect way to even close that out for their end of the year, as well as for us entering into the re-spiriting season. What a perfect way in saying to be receptive. The 6-6 portal allowing you, this is a day where as you're portaling through, we should be opening up in our receptive activity as the feminine energy to gain this wisdom from the darkest night, the darkest 3 days. Or as he said to me when I explained this to him, he was like, so that's why it's the coldest day. Yes. It's considered the coldest day because it's the darkest day. And when things are the darkest, it's considered the coldest. So 3 dark days are also known as the 3 cold days. But it's for our own good. It's to respite, respirit, right? In this rebirth. So what I want to do before I forget y'all, because I know this got cut off when I was reading it before. So I'm going to close this small piece out. This small piece out of the download that I was getting, speaking on this day and this respiriting. So with that, because when I did this, we were also closing out the vortex, which was the 21. The 21st day was also the closing of the vortex from 12/12 to 12/21. So the closing out of the vortex is also the day of the winter solstice, known as when the sun dies. So as we're closing out the vortex, which was on the 21st, We're seeing the 9 days of spiritual completion in a labor that wants to give birth, right? To the risen sunlight within through a stillbirth dark passage of wisdom to then begin moving forward in what was received through the feminine energy of darkness and wisdom into the masculine energy of light and willingness, right? So in that, we're talking about the stillbirth. And the reason why I say that, because of the solstice being still. So coming through that, the birth canal from the 12:12 to the 12:21, which is 9 days, right? That represents spiritual completion. So coming through that, there is a birth, but it's a stillbirth because we're coming into the stillness of 3 days. So this stillbirth is this dark passage of wisdom that we're gaining to begin moving forward in that risen sunlight, right? On the third day when we are risen. So it's being birthed into this stillness, but it's a good stillbirth, allowing us to be still in the wisdom, marinating in the wisdom, and then moving forward in what was received through that feminine energy of darkness, of wisdom, right? This is all feminine energy. So we have to be willing to capitalize on this receptive activity of feminine energy, right? And it's bringing it into the masculine energy of light and willingness, because that's the masculine energy, the will to do, right? The sun usually represents the masculine energy and the moon usually represents the feminine energy. That's why the night and the darkness is the feminine energy, right? So in this labor, we are to see the creative completion, 3, multiplied by the foundational balance, 4, into the cyclical completion, 12, and know what is here to return. So in this, basically it's saying that throughout all this labor, we're to see the 3, that creative completion that's multiplied by 4, that 3 seasons, the 3 months in every season, 4 times is that year. It's the 12, and that's the cyclical completion of 12. And know what is here to return to, right? So the spirit is the return. And for some of us, we may be understanding that as in turning around, right? And I'm hearing the song, just don't turn around. But yeah, we need to turn. Return is the respiriting, and it's turning within. And as I've mentioned before, we are at a pivotal point of overturning some old things, some old stuff. Remember, this sun in Capricorn right now is also bringing to the forefront. The sun represents our outer world. So as the sun is going to be spending this cycle, this month, this cycle in Capricorn, aka Set, right? It is bringing forward, it is echoing, and it's bringing to light what was being moved when Pluto entered, when Pluto left Capricorn for the last time on the 19th of November and moved fully into Aquarius. And I said it then that when the sun goes into Capricorn, it's going to come to the forefront for a lot of people who wasn't seeing it before, because now it's brought into the outer world with the sun entering into Capricorn. So you're going to now see what paradigm shift had taken place when the sun entered, when Pluto entered into Aquarius, carrying us, ushering us into the new age, the Aquarian age, right? So this is really saying a lot. This respiriting right now is giving us that opportunity to re-look, especially within this entire year, what has happened while Pluto had been transiting from Capricorn into Aquarius. The responsibilities, everything that we needed to know, the accountability from January that we had to reface again in the summer, where we had the double full moons in Capricorn in that little window right there. We have had so much opportunity to hold ourselves accountable, yet some are still playing around because they think they have so much time, which we do. We're in infinite time and space, but what you do has to be in alignment with divine timing. There is a time and place for everything. And although we live infinitely, don't take advantage of that infinite existence. There is also wrong timing within that infinite existence, which causes people to pick up karma and trauma in their soul experience. And we're here to uncover the trauma so that we can live in our dharma, right? For those who are entering into the 5D, this is what we are doing. This is what is helping us to enter, to alchemize and enter into the 5D expansion, right? You can't do it without releasing and letting go of those shadows, right? We have to be able to let go of the shadows in our soul, or else you will not be able to ascend into the 5th dimension, right? 5D is here, but the question is, are you ascending into 5D, right?
Yes.
Ashe, ashe. So, yes, 5D, right? See, yes, it's in your heart, and there's a heart frequency. Exactly. See, I got some 5D people here with me.
Not yet.
Yes, we're entering. Yes. So,
To enter the 5D, the ego mind has to completely die.
exactly. The ego, that's what we're talking about, the ego death. See, she understands that in order to enter 5D, in order to alchemize, we have to have that ego death experience. We have to allow those things that were in our ego to fall away, right? In order to allow this light to continue to pour through us. It's going to keep accelerating.
Yeah.
It's a constant acceleration. So we have to get rid of the programming, right? It's not to be mean to what other people want to do, but it's to understand the truth in you. And in order to see that truth, we have to unlearn and relearn, deprogram and reprogram in order to step into that new timeline of your soul. In order to quantum leap, it has to be a purging. There has to be a releasing of letting go of what no longer serves us. So as long, right, it no longer serves us. And so these distractions will keep us held back. So the respiriting that I speak to you of is to have a rebreathing of the timeline right now, to let go of everything. We have to be willing, as I said to someone today, we have to be willing to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So while everyone is busy on the go, 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 you stop and you respirit. And that's the winter solstice, respiriting 3 days down. So you see the universe, the world, I'm not going to say the universe, but mankind has us in a spell because they have everybody going and getting ready for what? Christmas. And preparing for something. So you're busy. The 3 days that you should be still is the 3 days that people are the most busy because they're preparing for an event that was told to them. And so we have to untold that story and unfold the truth and go within. Take this opportunity every year. If you didn't do it this year, that's okay. I just started doing it 2 years ago. This is the 3rd year, right? So if you didn't do it this year, welcome. Welcome to 5D. Welcome to the new earth, right? And you'll do it again next year. And we have the rest of these 3 months is a respiriting season. So you can practice it for these 3 months. Practice being on the slow when everyone is on the go. So for example, like I told the guy today, on Monday, I do nothing. Monday is the day that the world is the most busiest. Busy, busy, busy. I do the opposite. I do nothing. So that would be what some people call my Sabbath. I do nothing on Monday. Everything that the world is doing, I do the opposite. That's how you practice respiriting. So if you didn't get it this year, I invite you next year to look out for the winter solstice, the 21st, right? And on the 21st of the winter solstice, go into your meditation. Go into a stillness. If you don't know how to meditate, just be still and allow your ego to die. Reflect and review on whatever has come up for you in your life. Hold yourself accountable and responsible for the part that you play in whatever has showed up in your life, because we play a part, right? And we can't point the fingers at everybody else. Even if someone has done something to you, we play a part in that. Find you in the mix of it, because that's what's important. You do that for 3 days, and on the 3rd day, your soul, your ego, your wise ego will be risen And that is the true Christ more. That is the true super conscious, Christ conscious mind that you're going to awaken to. And that is your Christ mas. It's not about gifts. It's not about running around. It's about the super conscious being risen in your soul. Don't let that miss you next year, right? And if you didn't catch it right now. Go read Spirit tonight, tomorrow, and let your Christ consciousness be risen in you, right? And that's the truth. Yes, memory. That's what it's a remembering. We are all a part of the remembering. It's a soul synapses remembering. Every moment is an opportunity to remember who you are, to be connected to who you have come here to become, to be evolved in your comings. Look at that word, become. Be is be evolved. Be evolved in your comings on this plane, on this earth plane, and what you've come here to do in your soul unfolding journey, because it's bigger than you think, right? I do work a lot. I gotta find a balance. Yes, find the balance. This is about finding peace and balance. And let me remind you, this is about soul sovereignty. So for those of you who are entering into 5D, you have to have a sovereignty of your soul, which means you have to be, the true ruler is you. In 5D, there is no government. It's self-governing. But in order to be self-governing, we have to be responsible, able to respond to truth. And that means a soul sovereign. Sovereign in your soul, in soul integrity, in spiritual integrity. And therefore you need no government. You need no leader when you allow the divine to lead your soul. Ashe? So find the balance. Find the balance, find the peace, because our peace is always getting rocked. And only you can control it. Only you can manage it. Fasting, yes. If you can fast, it does help. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you. See my soul tribers up in here? Y'all know, we know what time it is. Fasting and detoxing helps you decrease in your flesh and increase in your spirit. So if you want to hear your spirit speak loudly, fast. And not just from food. Fast from old patterns, old thoughts, old behaviors. Fast from certain people. Because where you place yourself in certain environments also tampers with your soul and your vibrations. So fast from certain experience. The best way I can say to fast: meats, sweets, and carbs. Because you give your body a chance to take a break from breaking down these foods. These are foods your body got to work to break down. So while your body is working to break down, it doesn't give your spirit a chance to rise. Your body has to be at a restful state. So when you take away the meats, the sweets, and the carbs, those are the three major things that your body's not working on to break down. So when you're fasting or detoxing, you can eat a lot of fruits, vegetables, smoothies, green teas. Like, you can eat a lot of those things. But no carbs, no meats, no sweets. And watch and see how your spirit rises in you. Let your third eye open. So we're in the new season. We're in the winter season. So we're coming out of the crown chakra season, and we're entering into the root chakra. And I'll give you more information on that. I'm going to do a different video on that, on the chakra seasons. So open your crown, get the energy you need, open your 7 seals, as I told the man yet today as well. Your energy centers, that's your 7 seals. You open your 7 seals when you open your Christ consciousness and let the Heru in you raise your vibrations, right? The crown is open. Ashe, ashe. Nuts, yes, seeds and nuts as well. You can, when you're detoxing, don't eat peanuts. Eat seeds, flax seeds, sunflower seeds, less nuts, because your body also has to break down the nuts. But they're good for you. But if you're doing a deep detox, seeds instead of nuts. And the next time I do a detox to detach, I'm gonna let you all know. We did one a couple months ago, so I'll let you know. right? Gratitude and appreciation. Of course, Queen, peace, love, and light to all of you. And now, with that said, happy respiriting season. I know it's kind of, I'm wrapping it up because, the place is coming alive and they're playing their music. So, what I want to remind us of, please remember to like, subscribe, share so that it gets to the algorithms and get to those who are trying to find this page or this channel. And also remember the retreat for next year is going to be the first retreat in Jamaica, 7-day retreat. And so for those of you who've been sending your donations, thank you, because you know the fight that I've been getting since I've been here. So what I ask is those of you who it appeals to your heart, please remember you can always send a donation anytime. It's always welcome. Any week, any month, for the rest of the year as we're preparing for the retreat to help solidify the spot that we want to have and have everything that we need for this retreat. And so all your donations help towards that. We found a couple of spots and we're still zeroing in on it, right? So it's going to be the 7-day workshop in a retreat here in Jamaica. So if you want to send a donation, send it to Divine Energy. No, you can Zelle me. You can Zelle me. And for that information, you can go to my email, Divine Energy Studio, DIVINE Studio with no S at gmail.com. And for the calendars. So if those of you who are still looking to purchase calendars, let me know. Remember, if you give more than $50, I'm going to gift you a free calendar when the next calendar comes out in March for our new year that begins in March. So thank you for those who donated. If you want to continue to donate, you can Zelle me and you can get that information through my Gmail. Ashe, faithfully you all got it. If you didn't, I'll say it again or I'll post it in here. What chakra? Okay, what chakra are you asking about? So I can answer you before I go. Let me know what chakra you're asking about. I just did a baking soda and water detox. Okay, you got to tell me about the baking soda detox. So email me so you can share that information with me as well. You, the crown chakra. What chakra? Okay. Let me be clear. Be clear to me on what chakra you're talking about. But the one I was speaking of was the crown chakra season that we were just in. For every time we enter a season, we enter into a new chakra season. So we were just in the crown chakra season for fall. Now we just entered winter and we're entering into the root chakra season. So what I can tell you what chakras to work on right now from what I've been seeing, the root and the solar plexus. Because the root, the biggest block of the root is fear. The biggest block of the solar plexus is shame, which is our identity body. And right now we're getting a lot of hits in our root, including me while I'm here in Jamaica. I've been getting double blows to my root because they want me to be back in survival mode. And they want me to entertain those fear frequencies, those fear-based thoughts, and the lack. They want me to look at the lack. So when we were robbed, they wanted that to hit me in my gut and for me to be looking at the lack and in fear. But when you're truly in the abundant state of mind, there's nothing that's going to make me look back at lack because I'm in the abundance. So if I don't see it physically, I know that here, the abundance is already there. And it's just for me to step into a new window of opportunity to open that door. But if you don't think like that, those doors will never open. So I say that to say this. Yes, I was being fought in my root. And a lot of us are. We're getting hits in our root chakra for fear of not having adequate anything. Water, money, a place to stay. When you're getting faced with those things, those are root chakra attacks. And then once you're in the fear, you're going to double down in your identity. And so your solar plexus then it takes a low blow. You feel worthless, right? You feel powerless. And then it attacks your identity body. And then you overly try to control situations. And that's why control is a bad thing for the solar plexus. That's where narcissists live, in control, trying to control what they do not know, because they don't know how to be receptive. They don't know how to receive instructions, because narcissists are built on an ego-based personality, and they feel like nothing without their ego. Ashe? So, not fun, not fun. Yes, an alkaline diet is what's going to help. So the detox is good when you're on an alkaline diet. Ashe. So with that said, oh, you're welcome. We're welcome. So I'm going to close out. I'll definitely be back, and we'll go into some more. Happy respiriting season. Happy 2424 portal, which is a 6/6 portal that is activating the receptive activity. So be receptive, allow the feminine energy to flow through you. It means you're allowing instructions to come so that you can know what to do when it's time to do something. There's a time to be creative, and there's a time to be receptive. This is receptive time, right? So with that said, love you all. Continue the works that you're doing. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start, start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out, and be the candle that lights the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Peace, love, and light. Ashe.